Hello, welcome back to our TCAP commentary. So today we're gonna do James Rutherford, the teacher predator. Anyway, so we're gonna watch this entire uncut segment. The segment is pretty long; it's almost 37 minutes long. But I couldn't find the official TCAP one that appeared like on the news. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna continue. I did say I was gonna make more videos like this, but there's some people that have been messaging me, and some people, I've seen the comment sections. You guys are pretty sad about it, and I won't be releasing any videos anytime soon. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just, do this and make sure you guys are okay, right? Check it on my family, my online family, that is. But anyway, yeah, I'll explain later more, I guess. But for now, we shall continue, right?
Filming right now, because he sees me. Come on.
Nice car.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Stay there.
It's a nice house too, I guess. I think.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on
Apparently the
in.
guy is deaf. The guy cannot hear. The guy is deaf as heck.
The door's open.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm just gonna go finish getting ready. I'll be right there.
Where are you?
I'll be right back. Just sit at the.
That is so sus. I'm so sorry. You're like, I'll be right back. Like, what do you mean I'll be right back, right? I need you here now. Anyway, I don't know.
Barn. I'll be right
What
there.
am I saying?
All right, well, I'll be out here.
I'll be out here.
Just take a seat.
Come here.
Come here.
What?
I don't understand what's happening, right? Because it's like, I understand what he wants to do, right? He doesn't want to enter the house and, like, I don't know. Does he think that if he crosses this line, he'll be arrested, right? Just because he's here, that is, good enough. But I guess it makes him feel safe that, like, at any point he could just, run and get into his red Ferrari. Even though I don't think it is a Ferrari. It looks like it, though. I don't know much about cars, but it might be. I don't know.
No, I promise I'll be right back.
No, come here.
I'll be right there. Just wait. Try to be a little patient.
Actually, I want you to come here.
That's what I thought.
Would you have a seat right over there, please? Okay.
Actually.
What are you doing here?
I just came to hang out, really.
You came to hang out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, my God. There's going to be a lot of pauses, but, I know you guys have missed me. So I like to think that's okay. But anyway, I can't believe he goes from come here, right? I need to see you right now to I only came to chat, right? If you did come to chat, you would be a little bit more nonchalant and like less stressed out about it. It'd be like, oh, sitting down, yeah, sure. I brought the chips and salsa that we were gonna have while watching TV only.
Yeah.
And you came to hang out with who?
Sami?
I had a feeling this was what was going on, honestly.
You had a
I
feeling
had my
what was
drink.
going on.
Hold on. So, this is gonna be a little bit more of a casual TCAP segment, right? I know the other ones have been kind of how can I say this? Like too strict. This is more of a hangout sesh, between me and you, right? So usually I would record in the closet or on my desk. This time I've switched it up, or actually even on my bed. I've switched it up today. I am sitting in the middle of my room, right, with my laptop on my lap and the microphone I'm just holding on to. So yeah, and I just ate, so I have like this like drink I got from a spot, and this is my drink for today.
That this was some sort of setup.
A setup. A setup for what?
For what?
I don't know, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't come here for anything physical. I just was bored. I'm going through a divorce. I just wanted to get out of the house.
My wife left.
Honestly.
So you couldn't go to a sports bar to watch a game, or you
I've been
couldn't go
doing
to
that
a
all weekend,
townhouse?
man.
And so you thought you'd come here to this house.
I knew it wasn't a good idea from the get-go.
Who did you think you were going to meet here?
Just this kid I've been talking to.
This kid.
I know she's a kid.
This kid.
How old?
13, 14.
13.
Cannot believe what's happening in front of my eyes. We're not gonna get through this video. I'm 2 minutes in, and the video is 37 minutes long, right? I'm just kind of excited because it's like I haven't watched TCAP in a long time. You know what I mean? And I'll explain later. Fuck.
And how old are
And
you?
I need to get through the video.
Too old for a 13, 14-year-old.
Too old.
Too old.
And how old is that?
26.
26. And you thought it was okay to come over here to visit a 13-year-old girl?
36, 20, 30, wait, 26 or 36?
26.
26.
26. He looks 36. He looks a lot older than he apparently is. I don't know if he's telling the truth, right? With him being 26, but he doesn't look it. Maybe it's the camera quality, you know what I mean? I would maybe put him at young as maybe 32, you know what I mean? But just a little.
And you thought it was okay to come over here to visit a 13-year-old girl home alone?
Why?
No, I really didn't.
But you're here.
I know. I don't know why.
What's your name?
My name's Jim.
Jim what?
James.
That's all I have to say.
I'm going to find out.
Am I going to get arrested for this?
That's not up to me.
Are you going to turn me in?
Again, that's not up to me.
I mean, I really...
Classic, lawyer talk from Chris, where he's like, I cannot say, right? I cannot tell you that you won't get arrested. Because obviously he does, but it is funny to see James like pretty worried about that. Obviously, I would be if I was in his situation too, right? Like, I mean, that's like the most fearful thing, other than like meeting like a parent while you're in this home and then getting like your ass beat, hopefully. But yeah, it's just funny to see him talk about that, right?
What's your name?
My name's Jim.
Jim what?
Jim.
That's all I have to say.
I'm going to find out.
Am I going to get arrested for this?
That's not up to me.
Are you going to turn me in?
Citizen's
Again, that's
arrest,
not
man.
I mean, I really... Fuck.
What do you do for a living, Jim?
I'd rather not say.
Rather not say.
Jim,
I'd rather not say.
why don't you just tell me what you want?
Who do you work for?
I'll get to that in a minute.
No, I'd really like to know. I'm sure I'm on TV or something right now.
Why don't you just tell me what you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher. And what grade do you teach?
6th grade.
Sorry, I tucked over it. I'm
In
sorry.
a minute.
No, I'd really like to know. I'm sure I'm on TV or something right now.
Why don't you just tell me what you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher. And what grade do you teach?
6th grade.
6th grade. So you teach kids about the same age as the girl you were coming to see.
I would never do anything. I don't know why I'm here. Can I go?
No, not just yet.
Are the police here?
Kind of
Again,
Sir, please just tell me.
I have some more questions for you. There's nothing I can do to keep you here, but I have some more questions for you.
Are the police here?
I have to talk to you about some of the things that you said on the internet.
Okay.
You were on your webcam, showing off in front of this 13-year-old girl.
Oof. That just made me squint my eyes. Like, oh man, what do you mean showing off, right? I know that James Rutherford. I can't even say his last name. Rutherford. It's my accent, my weird. Some people have asked me what like ethnicity I am. I'm not Mexican because I'm not from Mexico, but I'm Hispanic, right? But I'm from Texas. So like, anyway, on to what I was gonna say. I know that James wants to get sympathy, or like he begins to kind of like cry about it. You know what I mean? He's like, my life's a mess, right? He pulls one of those situations, I think. And I know he also pulls out a note. Like, he's like, I wrote a note just in case, right? It's like a goodbye note just in case he gets like blasted or something. Obviously not for that. Like, it was like an alibi or something like that. He's like, oh, I wrote a note just in case, which very weird. It seems like you prepared for the worst, which, funny enough, it did happen, but anyway.
And the conversation you had with this girl
It was bad. I know. I don't know why. I need help.
You're cute too. Definitely have a pretty face. For jailbait.
I know it was wrong. I knew it was wrong.
I know I don't hear I'm pausing so much, but again, you're here for me. Some people really miss me, so this is why I'm doing this. This is for you guys, for my fans, my beautiful fans. Anyway, I haven't heard the term jailbait in a long time. Funny enough, with like the whole Dr. Disrespect situations happening around, like I've heard about it and I've been catching up. It's great to see. It's horrible, don't get me wrong, but I'm in touch, obviously. Bad wording, I guess, but yeah.
I'm sorry.
I could be your teacher. Would you flirt with me? She says wink at you and stuff. Hee hee, okay. Cute. You'd like that. I'd be flattered.
Ew.
Not like that's a bad thing. Innocent enough.
I knew I shouldn't have come. I knew I shouldn't have come. I'm sorry, man. I knew it.
What school do you...
You know, one thing that surprises me is how he's like, I should have come, right? The issue is not you coming. The issue is you doing this in the first place. You know what I mean? Just because you went on to actually physically go does not make you guilty, right? That's not the reason why police would arrest you. You solicited a minor online. I'm sure you probably exposed yourself to one. So that's the reason why, you know, this is an issue. The physical coming to the house part is just an extra charge and a way to actually arrest you physically. So
School do you teach at, Jim?
I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out. I'm going to get arrested, I'm sure.
How about St. Margaret of York?
That's it.
Is that right? Do you coach too?
wow.
Not anymore, apparently.
You say, I guess I'd like to kiss you. You say, I guess I'd kiss you too then.
Look, dude, I know what I said. I shouldn't have said it.
Christ.
My life just ended completely.
My life's over.
Why did you do it?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I have
You're
no
grown
damn
up.
clue. This was the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Oh my god. Pathetic.
Just end it, man. This is...
Where are you most ticklish? All over. Oh my
Look,
God.
dude,
Good God, man. I can understand why he's like, being like really, upset about it. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I don't want you to read anymore. The thing is you wrote those things. So it's like, how can you be so... I mean, obviously, I feel like if I ever got like my messages exposed from like someone who I like texted in this way, I would also feel the same way. Keep in mind, I've never really done that. So, with anyone. So, I wouldn't be in any situation like this, but, I don't even mean that like for a minor either. I just mean that in general. I don't think I've ever like talked in that way to anyone. So I don't really know how you could go through that and then be also like ashamed of it. Well, he is caught. You know what I mean? So I understand that part. I feel like if you had your messages of like raunchy messages read out by someone else, I feel like you would also respond like this, which, you know, it's common. I guess it's a common response, but hearing what he actually said is like, oh, I heard you're ticklish. Is just so, you know what I mean? That's the only way I could put it. It's so,
dude, I don't care. I know what I said. You don't need it for your
You
TV
don't care?
audience. I know that. No. All right, let me phrase that.
Please sit down.
No.
No. I'd like you to sit down, please.
I know.
he's just sit down before Chris smacks the blank out of him, right? He doesn't know that he's the one in danger right now. Not Chris.
I know you would. I'll tell. I mean,
Please sit down.
No.
I'd like you to sit down, please.
I know you would. I'll tell. I mean,
But I'm
here's.
not.
I know what I said. I
It
don't
gets
care.
a lot worse than
Yeah,
that.
I know, and I don't want to get into that. If I'm going to be arrested, just please have me arrested.
Or what?
I need help.
Ruin his
Obviously.
life.
Do you do this often?
No, this is the first time I've ever done
This is the first time. You know, because I've heard that a lot.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure I'm
It
probably not the
seems
first
like
guy to do this.
everybody who comes into this house says it's their first time.
I'm sure they do.
So, what were you going to do with this 13-year-old girl?
I wasn't really going to. I mean, I called her earlier and said I'm not really
He's
comfortable.
going to high-five her and congratulate her for having a beautiful house, right? That's what he was going to do. You know, he told me. Anyway, I was going to bring up a point that I think I forgot. Story of my life. Anyway, screw what I going to say? Rats.
Comfortable with this. I didn't, and she kept saying, "Come on, I'll just hang
Come
out."
on over.
I didn't want to do anything.
But you did get in the
I
car
don't
and
know
drive
why.
here from
The whole
Cincinnati.
damn way, I was thinking, "What am I doing? Why am I just not going home?"
But still, you
And I
drove
did.
here,
I
you
don't
got out,
know
you knocked on
why.
the door, and you walked in.
I know, and I didn't want to.
And you're all anxious, wanting to see the girl,
She just said, "I'm just going to watch a movie," and I said, "Well, what the hell? I'll sit there and watch a movie with her."
want to make out.
Look,
Sure.
dude. I mean, I'm sure the police are probably here. I'm going to go.
Right now, I totally do it.
You want to know why I was doing all that? Honestly,
Yeah.
I am going through a divorce. My wife Thursday told me she was leaving me. I don't know what spawned this. I mean, I was just in an Ohio chat room, an adult chat room, And this was a week or so ago, and she started talking to me.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it right for you to...
So his excuse is that he is being divorced. Honestly, that's not one of the worst excuses I've ever heard, right? But at the same time, no excuse can really justify what's happening right now. I know that he does bring that up a lot. I'm just talking out of my ass. I don't know what the hell happens, but like he has mentioned this already twice. And he's like, oh, I've already been to so many sports bars. I've been there all week. He was in an Ohio adult chat room, you know what I mean, and all this and that. I don't know if he does explain why he is being divorced, you know what I mean. It would be cool to find out. But I like to think it's something involving this. I don't know. I'm just talking nonsense.
I know.
Have this kind of discussion.
And I shouldn't have. I
Look,
guess.
divorce is tough. Everybody gets that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Nobody's going to make fun of that, right?
Well,
okay, it's not
on
good.
top of that, what kills me right now, on top of the fact that I just blew that part of my life, and I don't even know you, I don't know why I just ruined the rest of my life. I just lost my job as a teacher. I'm probably going to go to jail. I'm not going to survive in jail. For what? For what?
For what?
I don't know.
Do you have an issue with the internet? Do you have a compulsion, an addiction?
I think I do. I mean, it's not.
It's very interesting because every time Chris mentions that, he's always there to spin a narrative that like the internet is a bad place. And obviously he's catering to the older people that are like, oh, the internet, you know, all these kids on the internet need to get off the internet. It's not healthy, all this stuff. He's catering to those people, obviously. It's so evident. But when he mentions...
It's not.
I mean, help me to explain.
I don't know.
Help me to understand.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. When he does mention the idea that he... what was I going to say? Oh, that he, like, gives him a way out. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, like, do you have an addiction to the internet? Obviously not. I don't believe that James really came all this way. He's talked with this one person in particular because he likes the internet so much. That's just so... it's just so implausible. Is that a word? I don't know. But yeah, it's just he's giving him an out, and I'm just very interested to see where this goes from here.
My life, and I don't even know you. I don't know why I just ruined the rest of my life. I just lost my job as a teacher. I'm probably going to go to jail. I'm not going to survive in jail. For what? For what?
For what?
I don't know.
Do you have an issue with the internet? Do you have a compulsion, an addiction?
I think I do. I mean, it's not.
I mean, help me to explain.
I don't know.
Help me to understand.
I've thought about this a lot for years. Maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should get counseling. Maybe I should get help. And now I thought, well, it's not that big a deal. I've never taken it to this step. I don't know if this week has just pushed me over the edge.
Look, you're not the first guy to have an issue with the internet. And
see, he's like setting that up where it's like, oh, the internet made these guys, right? Obviously, the internet did have a hand in it, but you can't like blame the internet on what happened. You know what I mean? It's like blaming a car for a drunk driving incident. You know what I mean? You can't blame the I guess the tool that they used to commit the crime. You know what I mean? You can't blame the knife for the killer's actions. You know, you can't do that kind of stuff. But the part where he's like, oh, I've thought about this a lot, right? I remember there was a whole discussion around it being like, is he talking about like being into, you know, minors and stuff, or is it that he like thinks about, you know, being unfaithful, or like, you know, he thinks about socializing with these type of people, right? But I think it's the latter. I think it's like him thinking about, you know, like minors in that way. And because he goes, you know, oh, I've never took it to that step, so it's never really been a problem. It's very interesting to see someone admit that like they have had these thoughts before, because I know I think there has been a couple of people that have already done that, where it's like, oh, like I've struggled with this before, but like in this instance, it's just strange to hear it because he works at a school, which is the worst, you know, aspect of most of these TCAP segments, right? We've had a handful of teachers that have shown up, which is probably worse than most of the other ones.
Do you have an issue with the internet? Do you have a compulsion, an addiction?
I think I do. I mean, it's not.
I mean, help me to explain.
I don't know.
Help me to understand.
I've thought about this a lot for years. Maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should get counseling. maybe I should get help. And I was like, well, it's not that big a deal. I've never taken it to this step. I don't know if this week has just pushed me over the edge.
Look, you're not the first guy to have an issue with the internet and sexually charged conversations.
I know.
Addictions and compulsion.
It's not.
I mean, we see it a lot.
Instead of me being arrested, is there some way you can help me?
Well,
Crazy
I don't know that I can do that.
I mean, will you give me some of the information here and tell me what exactly is going on?
You want to know what's going on? Do you ever watch?
Hold on. He's about to reveal himself, but it's very interesting that he like goes from talking about himself and trying to gain sympathy and seeing that's kind of not really working to him going, well, is there something you can do to help me to not get arrested? Still very self-centered, still focused on himself, which is what most of these predators are about. They truly don't care about the victim. They only care about themselves. And they're only sad and crying because they got caught, not because they were going to harm somebody. So yeah.
Give me some of the information here and tell me what exactly is going on.
You want to know what's going on? Do you ever watch television? Do you ever watch Dateline NBC?
Oh damn, I've seen one of these.
You've seen one of these.
You know, that was one of the reasons I thought, why am I doing this? This could be a setup. I can.
But let me get this straight. You've actually seen our previous programs on computer predators.
I didn't think I was a predator. I wasn't out. I wasn't coming up here for anything physical. I know I talk. Look, that was like fantasy.
Here.
That was like
I
fantasy.
know, but everybody says that. But what's going to happen if I'm not here and the 13-year-old girl is?
And shout out to Joey's TCAP, by the way. I didn't even mention that in the intro. It's been so long. Yeah, Joey's TCAP. You know, what a legend, a complete legend. An amazing guy. You know what I mean? Never met him, but I think he is. I don't know. But anyway, let's continue.
You got all charged up by seeing
I know
this gal on the webcam.
I know. I don't know why.
Could I kiss you anywhere?
I'm sorry.
That'd be fun.
Man, I
You
know
could
it's on
point and I'd
TV.
kiss it.
Christ. It is extremely interesting that he doesn't leave. There's still a lot of footage left, so it's like he sticks around for a very, very, very long time, which is extremely surprising. But
Can I go?
Look, there's nothing I can do to keep you here.
I'm sure you're going to turn this into the police, right?
Well,
I'm gonna be on TV.
that's not up to me. I mean, we're doing a story. You've seen the stories before. Didn't you think, after seeing the previous stories,
I did.
that maybe this is something I shouldn't do?
That's why I didn't want to come. I really, deep down, thought this is the stupidest idea. I don't know why I'm here.
But
I know.
Nobody was twisting your arm.
You're right. You're right. You're 100%
You're a
right.
grown-up.
Yeah. I don't feel like one right now. I feel like an idiot.
well, grown-ups can be idiots too. Don't be dumb about it. But I like zoned out a little bit, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm like, okay, there's like nearly 26 minutes left in this video, and this guy is going to hold his hands up for this long. For almost 30 minutes, he's gonna hold up this pole. And I'm just like, I would be so tired by the end of it. He probably doesn't, but let's see. You know, I'll keep a strong eye. Shout out to Casey, on this guy. See if he does falter on his pole holding skills.
I mean, I'm just trying to understand how it gets to this point. You even acknowledge it's wrong here, but I don't want either of us getting into trouble.
I know. I knew I could get in a lot of trouble for this. I don't know why I'm here.
He is
You talk about
Stupid.
parking around back. I'm so freaking horny.
Yeah, I know.
You know, if you had me naked, I'd want more, right? Yeah, I would too.
Oh my God.
Look, man, you don't have to.
I just, he did say that it was going to get worse, and it has gotten worse, obviously. But the fact that he tries to make himself feel like a victim in this entire situation is probably the most insane part out of all of it. Because I am not one to review the chat logs, you know what I mean? I know some people have been asking me to do that, but, maybe in the future, who knows? I don't know. But it's crazy to know that he is reading out a lot of chat log, because this is probably as most as anyone has ever really read. Well, not anyone. As most that Chris has ever read from one of these guys' chat logs. And real bad. It's always real bad, though. Like, this is just a glimpse into what is probably all across this chat, which we don't know how long he chatted for, but you know, it probably was really bad.
I don't have to read it. You're a TV guy. Yeah, everybody that's watching this knows why I'm here. It was stupid. I wasn't really going to do anything.
I know, but that's
But I
hard
know,
to square
I know.
with what you said
I
here,
know.
Jim.
I really know.
And everybody who comes in says, I really wasn't going to do anything. And if you're going to have this conversation and then come over here and a 13-year-old girl is home alone,
I shouldn't have done it. I don't know what I'm here for.
the other issue, well, it sounds like what you're here for is to have sex with a
I
13-year-old
wasn't
girl.
going to have sex with her. Look, give me a Bible.
Screw the Bible, first of all. What do you mean you weren't? That is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life, right? Even though I've heard it so many times. But just the fact that he is reading out the chat logs in front of everyone right now, including this guy with the pole. Keep going back to him. But anyway, he keeps reading out these chat logs where it's like, you know, the most heinous things I've ever read. Apparently I'm reading them. The heinous things I've ever heard. And he really wants to convince everyone that he didn't mean anything. There are situations where people are chickens after, you know, needing to go through with what they were saying online. But in this situation, you can't really take that chance. Like, are you serious?
I swear to God.
You know, a lot of people have had religious conversions after walking in here.
Oh, I'm sure, and I'm not that religious of a guy.
And the other...
I'll tell you this.
I think that's the truest thing that Chris has ever said in the entirety of TCAT. Where he's like, you know what, like, getting into this house and being caught turns people really religious for some reason.
I might have kissed her. I wouldn't have done anything else.
You might have kissed her.
Might have. I know I shouldn't.
And where's that going to lead once you start kissing her?
That is true.
I wouldn't have let it. I'm honest with you right now.
Christ
I know nobody watching's going to believe. I wouldn't have done anything else. She is a kid. I knew that when I was coming up here. I wasn't going to do anything. I'm an adult.
You're a teacher.
Yeah, I know.
That's a position of trust and leadership in the community.
True.
You know how kids think. You know it's a very emotionally charged time for them.
I'm not a teacher anymore.
True. Shut up, man.
I mean,
Oh,
you're
I feel bad for me. I'm not a teacher anymore. Good, man. Good.
to take advantage of somebody that age should you choose to do so. And by coming here today, it certainly appears as though that's exactly what you were trying to do. Divorce or not, computer problem or not. You know, the experts tell us that, okay, the guy may say, I'm not going to
feel what say. Sorry. It is true. You know, I mean, I love how Chris has really put it out in front of us. Like, hey, no matter with your divorce problems, no matter with, you know, your computer issues or whatever, the real cold hard truth is that it really seems like that's what you wanted to do in this house. And obviously that is a major problem, not just morally and like just whoever you are, right? You can't do this. It's also the fact that you are in a position of power with kids. You know, I mean, you're a teacher. You know, parents leave you their kids and trust that you are leading them right. You know what I mean? And it is sad to say that there are some people who don't do that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of cases where guys like this, teachers or whatever, it doesn't matter who it is, it could happen. I know there was maybe too much info, but there was a case like this when I was in high school. One of the teachers like was talking with one of the students, and it got really bad. And like, it's just burping. I just cannot believe that that's really something that goes on in real life. You know what I mean? I look at these shows and I'm like, hey, like that could never really happen around me, but I've experienced this. I've seen it happen. You know what I mean? The guy that got, you know, the teacher who he didn't even get fired. He quit. He was my teacher too. Like, it was so crazy to see that this really happened in front of my eyes. You know what I mean? I knew who this guy was. I know how conspicuous they could be. To me, the teachers seemed normal, but behind the scenes, that's what happened, and it could really be scary. You know what I mean? And hopefully, teachers aren't like this, and it's a very uncommon thing. But I don't think that is the case.
I'm not going to do it this time. Maybe not the next time. But sometime it's going to happen.
You're right.
True. He's right. He's right.
Can I talk to you off camera?
I can't do that. I'm sorry. What's the
Do you guys have any help for me?
There are a number of ways to get help, and we're going to get into that in the story. We've got into it in some of the past stories.
Is there any way to keep myself off of this thing?
We've made no decisions as to who's going to be in or out of the story. We're just getting started. So I can't.
If there's some way I do start getting help, I mean, my insurance covers therapy, and that's obviously what I need for obviously more than this issue, but another number of things. If I
Rolling my eyes.
even if it was something I just don't. My life's a wreck right now. On top of this, I don't want this to ruin the rest of my life.
Well, I can tell you what. I can give you my card, and you can keep in touch, and we can.
I mean, are the police here? Am I going to be taken out of here in handcuffs right now?
I mean, that's not up to me. But that's my card. I'm sorry, Sprinkle. That's my card.
That's okay.
But if you want to call and stay in contact.
I mean, even if maybe there's, I don't know, a way that without telling the world that I screwed up royally, that you could maybe do hide my identity. I'll even sit down with you, and I can try to get help.
All I can tell you right now is, because we're just getting started with this and we're in the middle of it. I mean, all I'm saying is that you can call me. I'll be happy to talk to you as we continue to put the story together, and that's really all.
He's got into a one-hand stance, right? Funny, but it's just very strange to hear, because this has gone on for so long. It's gone over what 12? No, it was 13:41, but it took the time for him to get in the house and all that. It's almost 13 minutes. And he's really trying to bargain. He's bargaining as best as he can. He's like, oh, like, if I give y'all like an anonymous interview, will you like keep me off of the TV? If you can blur my face or anything. He's really trying his best, but obviously that's not gonna work. And it's nice to see that Chris does not really fold under this type of pressure of like someone kind of begging to be helped and be spared. You cannot have sympathy. Like, yes, it's sad to hear this guy's like really distressed about it, but the truth of the matter is that this is a really bad person, and having sympathy for someone like this is not right, because I'm sure they would have not had that for whoever he was going to meet, and probably you in general. Like, this is just not a good person. But yeah.
All I can tell you at this point, because I just don't know how it's all going to shape up, and I'm just being straight with you. That's all.
I know.
So I can't promise you one thing or another.
I promise you a lot right now.
Fine, I understand that. A lot of people promise.
I know. And you know what? In the last one, I saw that the guy was dumb enough that he came here the next damn day. He went and tried to do it again. I'm not that
guy. What's his name? John Connelly. He's talking about John Connelly. Or the Michael Seibert guy. Which, oh, by the way, here's a little bit of drama and like a little bit of juicy tea for you guys. I have a new laptop. Right, I got a new laptop. I mean, it's fantastic. I love it. Everything is nice about it. Thing is that I left nearly like 10 videos that aren't actually released on that computer, and that computer is wiped. So there was like 10-ish videos that have never or will never be released because they're gone. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys are probably like, what the hell? You deleted those videos. Yes, I did. Mainly because they were actually outtakes. They were all outtakes just in case like I got in a situation where I couldn't record or like I couldn't do a video or something. I could edit those and upload them. But they were really bad quality. Like, believe me, they weren't really all that great. Some of them was me getting too mad at the guys, like just unreasonably upset. There was other ones where it was just like unfunny and like the video wasn't long enough. I didn't have anything to say. So they weren't really good cuts of video, but I did record Michael Seibert, and I did record John Connelly. No, not John Connelly. John Connelly. It was who was it again? Screw it. That Italian guy. Anthony Palumbo. Yes, I recorded him too, but I recorded like 10 minutes into it, which I was like maybe a fourth in, and I was drinking and I got really drunk and I had to stop because like my family got home, but the Michael Seibert one, I had to cut into two parts, and the first part was weak. The second part was pretty good. I'll obviously record that video again, but just a little fun fact is that I did delete like 10 videos off of my computer, and they are lost media technically. But yeah. Regardless, those videos wouldn't have been good, and believe me, I know some people are like, oh, they would have been good enough. they were pretty bad. There was maybe 1 or 2 out of the 10 that were kind of good, but yeah.
Stupid. I don't know why I'm here. I need help. But you know what, you're right. I'm a teacher. And I don't do it because I'm some pervert. I love teaching. I love kids. It's the only thing I've ever loved. I don't know what the hell.
That is crazy. You can't really say that after you get caught doing this shit. You can't go, oh, I don't know why you did it. I'm no pervert. I love kids. You can't say that.
Because I'm some pervert. I love teaching. I love kids. It's the only thing I've ever loved. I don't know what the hell. I don't know why I'm here.
Get the camera on my
And you asked me if I coach. Yeah, I coach. And not because I was trying to find a damn date or get. It's because I like working with those people. I like teaching kids, and I don't know what I'm doing here. I know you've heard this. Hell, I've seen people sit here and say the same stuff.
But what does it say?
It doesn't say much for me. I know.
About the fact that you were suspicious.
True.
You had seen our previous stories.
Yep.
Probably got a chuckle out of what happened to some of these guys.
Yeah, and honestly, I sat there and watched and thought, those guys are sick.
Or more.
Why would you do that? And that was what, a month and a half ago? And then here I am.
But what does it say about your issue?
That is true. Like, you can't really try to be like, yeah, I saw the guys and they were horrendous. They were the worst people I've ever seen in my life. And you be one of those guys. You can't really put that into, a real reasonable stance. Like, he enters the house extremely nervous and very, what is it called? I keep forgetting the word because Jeff Sokol says it a lot, apprehensive about entering the house. And he's like, no, I want to see you right now. I want to see you. Because he probably deep down knows why she wasn't showing up. He's like, oh, wait a minute, this really feels like a sting. And he's seen it, just because he's seen TCAP doesn't make him like a good person. It makes him studied, if any, to be like, hey, I've seen the segment, so I kind of know what to look out for. He probably even asked the police, the decoy, if they were law enforcement, but
Then you would watch the program.
I don't
pass
know.
judgment on the guys in that show, and then show up here yourself.
I'm obviously a hypocrite. I'm sorry, Mr. Hanson. I'm sorry, all you guys. I'm sorry.
Hanson.
If this does end up on air, I'm sorry. Everybody else that sees this, don't do it.
He's trying his hardest. He's even trying to sympathize with Chris. He's like,
I mean, that's why I said if there's any way I can get help, if I can show you I've gotten help, if I can show you that it's helping me.
I mean, all I can tell you is that, let me know what's going on.
I mean,
that's my number, that's my email.
let your best friend know.
I mean, how much trouble am I in if you do turn this into the police?
Well, that's not up to me. I
Do you know? I don't even know.
I mean, all I'm involved in is the story. So
Does anybody here know? I know you guys aren't allowed to be on camera, but
Because my good friend here, the boom mic man. Let's give him a name. Manny. That's his name, Manny. My dog Manny. Don't talk to my dog Manny, man.
They're all involved in the story too. The law enforcement part is something that's separate and that I don't control.
I mean, I know
Manny's
I've seen some of them
Manny.
I could be wrong. I watched bits and pieces of it. We talked about it, and like I said, I thought, what the hell's wrong with these people?
Did you talk about it in school?
Yeah, we talked about it with the other teachers. All of us had seen it. We thought, why would you do that? We all.
So these stories have been a topic of discussion at the school where you teach.
And then here.
Chris is excited about that. He's like, "Oh, you're telling me that the educational system's talking about me?" But Chris Hansen, he's so full of himself. So like, whenever he, his show, right, TCAP, or he is mentioned in any form, anywhere, I'm sure he is excited to hear about it. Everyone knows Chris Hansen is really full of himself, and if somehow Chris Hansen is watching this, I love you. It came out so weird. Like, I appreciate Chris Hansen so much. I mean, he's a legend in my eyes. He's one of my heroes, truthfully. But like, he's like, wait a minute, you're telling me the teachers at your school are talking about me, right? That's what I'm hearing.
So these stories have been a topic of discussion at the school where you teach.
And then here I am.
And then here you are. What are you going to say to those other teachers?
I don't know. I have no idea.
my bad. I'm going through a divorce.
I can't. I don't know what I'll do.
Manny going too handy on the boom mic.
I don't want you to think I'm a monster.
You are a monster. You
I'm
serious?
really not. I don't think.
That's crazy.
I didn't think I was anyway. Maybe I am.
But you're here.
I can only shake my head truthfully.
Drove 2 hours to get here.
You know,
Plenty of time to...
I was this close, honestly, to just going to the Wright Pat Air Force Museum. I was this close. I thought, you know, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I thought I'll go there, or I saw some tourist something on whatever state route I was on. I even thought, hell, while I'm here, I'll go to the place I bought my car here, believe it or not, and see if they've got the key they never gave me.
Correct.
I had so many things cross my mind that what I should be doing.
But that's not even working in your favor either. It's like you had so many other things you could have been doing. Instead, you chose to do this, which is not a good thing for you, right? I understand what he's trying to say, like, oh, well, like, you know, I actually could have been doing something else, right? I can only shake my head. You know, I can only shake my head. Why do people do this shit? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Whenever, like, there's a situation where I'm like, you know what? You know, maybe I like somebody. Like, it's never someone that I would like to, like, I would like old, like younger people. Why the fuck would that even be the case? Why? I just don't understand it, you know what I mean? And I'm currently thinking of the whole Dr. Disrespecting again. And I don't want to make a whole dedicated video like, oh, what you know what I mean? I just don't want to do that. I just don't care to do that, but I'm gonna talk about it here because you know, it's interesting. But I can believe in his and if you don't know what I'm talking about, search it up. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but I can't believe he tweeted out the worst tweet I've ever seen from a predator ever. At the end, he pulls out this cheesy ender. They want me to leave. Yeah, right. Like, what are you doing, man? And I can't believe that he's like, oh, I don't want you calling me a predator. I only texted a minor, and it almost went sexual in our messages. I only did that. I'm not a predator at all. Insane. And there was talks that he was gonna meet them at TwitchCon, which is insane. Like, I just can't believe that he's really trying to perpetuate that he's not a predator when he truly is. But anyway, I don't want this video to be a discussion about that. So.
And it's like I was thinking no, but I just did it anyway. I don't know why.
I mean, was it like some...
Can I drink this?
Yes, you may.
I can't. It's dry. Obviously.
Are you suggesting that you couldn't control yourself?
Apparently not. I don't know. And I'm not trying to make excuses. I know it sounds like that.
Manny,
I don't.
Too handy.
I don't know. I mean, I've always talked to people online, and I've never done anything like this. I don't. You're right. It's like I couldn't control myself. I'm not trying to make excuses. I don't know if I've just shut down.
All right, so we have Manny going one handy right now, and we have Dandy right here, which is, he's maintaining the two handy. I can't even talk. All right, so we have Dandy, Manny. Who's this? Cameron on the camera. Bangers left and right from me, right?
Shut down this week. I am
Cameron,
going.
Manny, Dandy, and he's doing a mighty dandy job holding it two handy.
I'll have to go through a divorce.
Oh, man.
I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't be here. Maybe
If it wasn't for that.
If it wasn't for that, I can honestly say that because I wouldn't have, you know, wanted to hurt my wife and.
What?
Ex-wife,
I was zoning out.
Maybe
If it
that
wasn't for that.
If it wasn't for that, I can honestly say that because I wouldn't have, you know, wanted to hurt my wife and ex-wife now. And I think maybe I just said, what the hell, I've got nothing else to lose right now. And obviously, I really didn't think that one through because I'm pretty sure this is going to cost me the rest of everything I know.
But,
You know, I think that's the best excuse I've ever heard a predator give. Like in general. You know, he's like, oh, it seems like I've already hit rock bottom. What is there more to lose? And I think that's the best excuse I've ever heard someone give. Obviously, it's not it's not excused in the slightest, but it's definitely a justification that I feel like he felt was good enough to be like, hey, well, this is it for me, so why not just like risk it anyway? And it's definitely going to get a lot worse for him, obviously, because he will be arrested. You know, he's on camera by Cameron. That's on the camera. He's being audio recorded by Dandy over here, and Manny as well.
You know, you look like a guy who's got it together, who could go out and be social and talk to women your age.
I try.
Have buddies.
I don't know why I'm here.
Buddy?
Jesus.
I mean, was it the allure of...
I don't know.
Elore?
I really, honestly, and you're right.
Of some forbidden fantasy? Is that what's
be
going
it.
on? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
You know, I don't know,
I'm not
Chris,
trying to be
Mr.
a hard
Hanson.
guy about it.
I know.
But I'm just trying to understand it, that's all.
I know. I don't, you know what, I wish I understood it. I don't know if it was,
Great.
like you said, just because it was forbidden, or, I don't know. I wish I could tell you.
Because
I
the
can
law
tell- I
is
wish
very
I could-
clear on a 13-year-old. I mean, just the chat.
Probably wasn't a good idea.
Illegal.
Is it really?
Against the law.
Just a,
He's not recording. Almost said Drake. I don't know why the hell I almost said Drake. He's recording Chris. What the fuck?
talk to somebody? I mean, with,
To
with the
solicit for
sex.
sex.
But I wasn't
Using
soliciting for
Well,
sex.
I know, but
It wasn't.
I'm not the prosecutor, I'm not the police. But I'm just saying, you know what you said. It was
Well, I
sexually
mean, will you turn
charged.
in all this stuff two and two?
We're really gathering this for a story. Law enforcement does what law enforcement does. We do what we do.
So you just give them like that? And say, I showed up and
I
like,
personally don't.
The funny part is that they already have all this, so James is probably trying to restrict this ever going to the police and being like, oh well, he just showed up, and like essentially none of this information is shown as evidence against him. When truth of the matter is, most likely, is that the police already have this, which actually no, that isn't the case. I think because I believe perverted justice hands these child logs to the police. I don't know if that's it now, because I know there was a whole like scandal where like one of the attorneys for the Predator wanted to get the child logs from perverted justice, and perverted justice said that they didn't have it, and then they like was insinuated that they had deleted them. So I don't know if it is true that the police don't have these currently, but if they're outside ready to arrest someone, they probably already have them. They need to have probable cause, and the probable cause probably comes from the child logs. But anyway.
I mean, we use this for the story, and you know that the law enforcement part of it is something totally separate.
like I said, my life is pretty much going to right now, and I hate the fact that I just made an even bigger mistake and probably just cost myself everything else. My friends, trust, my job.
For you, huh?
I just want to get help, and I know that's probably not going to happen. But I wish I could, well, I wish I wouldn't have done something stupid like this, but I wish I could just find help.
Well, help is out there.
I know. That's why I wish, I mean, and I'll...
What?
That's why I wish, I mean, and I'll... If I don't end up in jail, I hope I don't end up in jail for this stupid mistake.
Well, I have some news for you, buddy.
I don't want to throw away my life for something.
Have you ever gone to visit somebody who's underage before?
No.
Have you ever chatted with somebody who's underage before on the internet?
I have, and like I said, I don't know if it was just the kind of allure and the fantasy.
Oh
So how
my
many
God.
times do you figure you've done that in the past?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the internet's been around since I was that age. And I guess as I grew up, I just, you know, I would chat and things like that. Probably more than I should have. I don't know. But, I mean, no, I know you said, and I saw it on the damn show, everyone, and I'm sorry, I'll watch my language. Every one of them walked in, I've never done this, and I'm sure some of them had. I really haven't. I don't know why I did it.
But you have chatted with underage
I have.
kids.
But never with the intention that I was really going to do something.
He has that Alan Turing conviction, right? I've never, ever done this with anybody.
And then today it was like...
But these conversations were sexual in nature?
Yeah, sometimes. And that's one of the things, like I said, I think it was before these guys even came out. I know it was, actually. I've thought many times, how do I stop this? How do I get... And I guess, not like this isn't embarrassing as hell, but I was always just too embarrassed to even go talk to a counselor or talk to a therapist and say, look, I think I've got a problem.
With one hand, you look at him. He's working his ass off. Anyway, so I was going to mention how James really tries to be like... He tries to make it seem like it is a unknown disease that he has found no cure for. How he's like, oh, like, how do I fix this? It is a very simple way of fixing you talking to minors. There is one thing you can do, and that is stopping. I know that is a very nuanced thought in the predator list for TCAP, where it's like, oh, it was just an impulsion. I didn't know how to stop it. Believe me, I don't believe people are that addicted to the internet, right? Like it's like you can put that label on anything, you know what I mean? I know almost anything can be an addiction, but it's like I'm addicted to, I don't know, I'm addicted to looking up at the sky, right? Like there's nothing really to it. It's just you have full control. There is no such thing as a unsolvable addiction to talking to minors. Like that is incredibly crazy.
Here's what I do. Why? How do I fix this? How do I help myself?
I mean, how often do you figure that you've talked to somebody who's underage?
This age, not. I mean, like I said, I was in an adult room. I was talking to people that were 20, 25, and I was just clicking on random names, and just chatting with girls. I mean, not sexually usually. And I clicked on hers, and we started talking, and I even think at first I was like, oh, I'm a little young, and I know I've been trying not to do that. I really have. I thought, well, it's innocent enough. We're just chatting about stupid stuff, whatever, no big deal. I mean, I do the same thing at school.
But it almost appears,
oh my God,
if you look at
you cannot go, yeah, like, we were just talking. I do the same thing at school when the chat log led to a very sexually explicit conversation. That is crazy, I overlooked the fact that he is a teacher. He is a whole-ass teacher. I mean, I'm sure he has tutoring and all of the sorts. It is really scary to think that this guy was alone with kids. You know what I mean? And he goes on to try to convince us that he's like, oh, well, I never had those thoughts and all that. Like, come on, man. It's just so incredibly sus.
Look at this, like there was a grooming process. Like you were trying to
I remember you said that, and I've examined, do I do that? I mean, is that what I'm doing when I'm on here?
Probably.
I remember hearing that and thinking, is that me? Is that what I'm doing? I didn't think of it like that. I don't know how many studies there have been on how, obviously, I'm something I didn't think I was.
Oh my God, man.
But as a teacher, obviously you read the stuff about making sure kids don't fall prey to stuff like this.
I don't. In school, I've never ever crossed that line. Ever. I've never even considered it when I was with kids.
But I'm not even suggesting that. What I am suggesting is, as a teacher, you're exposed to the material that explains how this can happen, what to look for in your students to make sure they don't fall prey to this sort of thing, and here you are involved in this kind of activity.
That is true.
God, I don't know how I'm going to tell anybody. I wish I didn't.
Well, maybe the fact that you are going to be a registered sex offender might give someone an idea of how you could tell somebody. That didn't make any sense. Essentially, with you being an RSO, I'm sure you'll be fired, and we'll have to go around telling people that you are an RSO. So, that's that answer. That question answered.
Why am I here?
Why am I here?
I mean, if you saw the stories and you're up on the material and you realize the danger, that must say something about the allure, at least for you, of this sort of activity. And again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just trying to get it.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about. Oh, Jesus, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why I did it. Like I said, I've never, ever crossed a line like that with a person that I was a student. Ever. Not even thought about it. I guess maybe it was just like online, it was like they weren't real.
It's all pretend.
That's kind of what it feels like, I think.
But it was real when you walked in that door.
Oh, yeah.
True.
And I mean, like I said, I'd seen. Haven't there been 2 of these, or just 1?
I think this is like the 3rd one, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I was gonna mention how that type of argument has actually been brought up before. So it's like, I'm sure he probably recalls it from TCAP, not that he believes in it. Or well, Chris Hansen's the one that proposed the idea where it's like, oh well, is it because they're online? You know what I mean? And I think that is a form of reasoning why they do it and claim they would never actually do it. Keep in mind, I don't have faith with most of these guys, but there is like that entire experiment that they did where they were like on. It's a very famous case where it's like there was a guy sitting down, and there was a guy with the lab coat behind him, and he was like turning on shocks for someone. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry, that was nasty. Turning on shocks for someone that was in the other room getting shocked, trying to answer questions, and they would get it wrong on purpose, so then they would get shocked. Well, they would keep going when they weren't face to face. When they were face to face, the people would actually stop a lot quicker. So I like to think that that is the case in some way. Holy shit, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning.
3.
3. I'd seen them. I knew that was a possibility.
Yeah.
And I thought, why would I throw my life away for this? And I just kept driving. I don't know why.
What a dummy.
I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell America. I wish I could tell everybody that I'm going to have to tell.
What do you say to other men your age who are now in chat rooms?
Manny has given up. Look at him. He tried his best, but it wasn't good enough, right? He's like, oh, Chris Hansen's yapping away, I guess I'll just put this down, it doesn't matter anymore. But at least Dandy is still going strong at it, right? He has a lot more dedication than Manny does. Manny's pretty whack, but
Talking to girls,
Manny tired.
underage girls. What do you say to them?
What would I say, having been here?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? I can't say I don't feel really hypocritical, but I would be like, look, you need to step back and figure out what your intentions are.
Oh my god, I cannot believe what he just said. That seems so minor, get it? But it has such a bigger intention, like a bigger meaning behind it than just being like, hey, you need to consider what you're doing. He isn't even saying like, hey, you shouldn't do this. It's like more like, hey, consider what your intentions are. You know what I mean? Consider what you're actually here for. Very strange, man.
Is this worth it? And for what? I'm serious. I know
that's not even a good that's not even a good deterrence. It's like, yeah, like, is it worth it? You know what I mean? Is it worth getting caught? You have to think about what you want here first before you actually go through with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a stupid thing to say.
that doesn't look good.
That's not a good
Honestly,
argument.
on the way up, I thought, you know what? I'll just hang out, watch a movie, and go home. I don't.
It's a long way to drive to hang out and watch
You're
a
right,
movie.
and I know it. Like I said, it doesn't look good. It sounds like I'm just full of BS. But I thought, she's a kid. She's half my age. I'm not gonna do something like that to her. And I know, everybody out there is gonna think I'm full of it, but that's really the whole way up here, back and forth again. Why should I just turn around? Should I go somewhere else? Should I just go?
What is this, the director or something? He's like, Manny, bring that down.
Pull over and cry because my life's crap right now, and then here I am. But what would I say? I don't know. Why are you here? Have you really thought about this? Have you thought about the consequences for yourself? Have you thought about the consequences if you...
My man is tired, man. I'm sure it is tiresome to hold this thing up like for so long and just standing there.
You guys weren't here.
What could have happened?
Even if it hadn't been...
Or maybe there's a camera right here that needs to get a picture of Chris, which is most likely the case, truthfully, because like Chris is being filmed from this side, and I'm sure he's blocking it, right? So probably it. That.
And this, even if nothing had happened, I could have messed her life up.
Yeah.
You know how vulnerable a 13-year-old
I
kid
do.
can be. You got him in
Like
your
I said, I don't know if it was the internet. Like I said, I think something about it. Even when I was that age, it was like it wasn't real. I'm talking to people that it's people you don't know. You can chat about politics or cars or sports or obviously sex, but it's like it's not real. If they get mad or you get mad at them, you never have to see them again. And I don't know what. I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses. I don't know if it was just that this week pushed me over the edge, and that's why I crossed this line. I really never have just driven to meet a 13-year-old before. Why would I? But I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what made me do it.
Will you do me a favor? Will you keep me posted?
I will.
All right.
I mean,
that's my number, right?
Mr. Hansen, I'm serious. If
I
Mr.
appreciate
Hansen,
that.
Mr. Hansen, my guy. I'm serious. I don't understand. He's like, I'm surprised he's still going because he has another like 8 minutes left of his conversation.
I asked you to.
I don't, and I know it's not up to you. It's going to be up to your producers. I'm serious, and I'm going to get help. I know you hear that probably from every single schmuck that walks through that door, that I'm going to get help. And like I said, I even saw that.
This guy's a yap master, but I'm not gonna lie, yap master. He yaps a lot more than I do, and you guys know how much I love to talk. But yeah, I'm sure Chris Hansen wanted to wrap it up right there. Where he's like, will you keep me in touch? But he's like, hey, Chris, Mr. Hansen, please let me get out this next 10 minutes of dialogue or monologue.
That idiot got and tried again the next day. I don't know if that's even going to happen. I don't know if I should even go home and call my parents, call my lawyer, call my principal and say, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm going to be able to. I've never thought about it with those kids. I never would have crossed that line with any of them because they're real to me. I see their emotions. I don't want to throw that away, and I'm afraid I just did. But if there's any way that I can help you, and that if the police, the prosecutor, your bosses, and I know it's not up to you, could, like I said, even if you'd hide my identity.
Christ, like this guy is really fishing for something to come his way. You know what I mean? He's asking Chris to be like, hey, well, you talk to your bosses, your producers, right? The chief of police, call the president. For all I care, right? Please someone get me out of this, right? He is really desperate to try to not get exposed here. It's just something else. And funny enough, we are going to read his TCAP wiki. I know it will make this video like an entire film long's worth of footage, but I'm sure you're enjoying it. Hopefully, we'll see though. But anyway,
You can use my words if you spew my voice. I don't know. And then even do a follow-up. Interview me. I'll start talking to someone. Hell, I'm sitting here doing it. What could be on national television. I guess I can now do it with a therapist.
You wish you had done it before with a therapist instead of sitting here with me and always telling the camera?
oh yeah.
And I'm not kidding. I've thought about that more than once. I mean, I guess I could have been like the other guys and taken off running. But then I guess I wouldn't have gotten to tell my side of why I'm here.
I don't think
You would have known who I was anyway. And it would have been.
I don't think there's anything he could say truthfully to try to get him on the good side, I guess. Like, justify his actions. Obviously, me and you know that this guy is no saint. You know what I mean? So
It would have probably been worse. I have thought about. I'll be frank. I mean, since I was probably 20, 21, and of course then, it was, I'm 20, she's 17, I'm chatting to her, no big deal. But it was like I kept getting older, and then
Kids
it's
get
cliche. They got younger, or they stayed the same age, and 99.9% of the people I would even talk to on there are 19, 20, 21 at the youngest. But it was the other ones that I always thought, well, why am I chatting? And the fact that many a times I thought, I'm married, why am I chatting to women anyway? Maybe I should talk to somebody. And I always thought, I just can't put that out there in front of a therapist. I couldn't admit it to myself, and I couldn't admit it to a stranger. And now here I am. I just hope it's not too late for me. I know America, if this makes it on, is going to think that You know, I should never be within a mile of a kid again, and I'm sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry, and I've honestly, especially the parents of the kids that are probably going to see this that know me, I've never thought about it with one of them. Never would have done it. I mean, hell, nobody at school even knows I'm, except my principal. And
This guy's still giving commands over here. But anyway, I was like, something he said caught my attention where he's like, you know, if the parents of the kids that I teach see this, which is like that's just something that I don't ever really consider. You know, when I'm watching these, I like rarely think, or like it only like it gets into my mind for like a little bit. The real life people that know these guys that end up having to like, you know, see this, you know what I mean? Like, if how he just said, the parents of the kid that he teaches, imagine seeing your kid's teacher on TV getting caught for trying to visit a 13-year-old girl home alone, right? Like, that is extremely bad. And like, I don't know what I would do, you know what I mean? I would be extremely mad. And I feel like if the teacher, you know, if this teacher isn't fired by then somehow, you know what I mean, we're gonna have to throw down. And that's probably the best way that I could imagine a parent being like.
one, a couple of my close friends knows I'm getting divorced.
What do you think they're going to say at school?
Christ, tell me about it.
I think they'll be surprised. Because I'm not... This isn't me. I don't know. I hope they're surprised.
Imagine if they weren't.
But I guess the question that some people might ask is this. If you eventually evolve to the point where you'd come here to meet a 13-year-old girl after this kind of conversation, at what point do you suddenly become interested in kids in the school you teach?
Oh, I stopped a little bit prematurely because my finger just tapped the space bar. But anyway, that is a really good point. It's like, at what point would it go from being strictly online to being with the kids that you teach at school, which is a very scary thought if you really think about it. No, you know, I'm glad that it stopped. I'd like to think before that could ever happen. You know what I mean? I like to think that James got fired, you know what I mean, and he went to jail for a couple of months. You know what I mean? It should be years, but you know, the way that TCAP had worked at this time, that's like the most that people caught. Was like a month or two, or maybe even 3 if you're lucky. And a lifetime registration, which is good. That's probably the best part you can get from out of something like this. But anyway, yeah.
Crazy. Ryan, it's a legitimate question.
That's why I want help. Maybe, I don't know, you've seen this a lot of times. What do I do now?
Get arrested, G.
Well, I'm not in the business of giving...
You're not a person that gives
psychiatric advice, but I think if you were to inquire anywhere, just like you would if you were feeling you were ill in any other way, they would probably help you.
But what do I do with that? I mean, do I, like I said, do I go home and
shut up.
and call my boss?
It is just so ridiculous. Like, he really is trying to, I guess, gaslight everyone to going, well, yeah, you know what, after this, I will go home and do that. Like, if it'll somehow prevent him from being arrested. I don't know if he's just being dumb on purpose, or he genuinely doesn't understand that he will be arrested in a second. But to go, hey, should I go home and call my boss? Like, no, you're not going home, G. Like, you're not going home in any form anytime soon. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the police also tell your place of employment that you had gotten arrested, especially if you work at a school. But yeah.
Boss and say I can't come in anymore.
Those are things that I just can't.
I know.
I'm not in a position to give you advice on. Now, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you shedding light on this situation, because I think it's helpful in a number of different ways. And again, I'm being serious about this. That's my number and that's my email. And keep me posted as to how things are going, and I'm willing to have a continuing discussion with you in terms of what's going to be in the story or not in the story. We're just starting, so I can't.
I mean, when is this thing supposed to air and all that?
Tomorrow.
You know, those things are going to be decided once we get the story together, and it's not done yet. So, I mean, like I said, you know, if you want to keep in touch with me, as I know that information, I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to hide it from you, you know.
I know.
So, you know, I'm just being as straight up about it as I can.
I just don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, a lot of those guys came in here, and I know there was one that was like a...
I'm just really impressed of how long he's been able to stretch this out. I am one to be able to do this. I'm able to drag an entire conversation. We could probably talk the entire day if I so wish. I just have so much to talk about. I can talk about anything. But anyway, back to what I was gonna say is how, funny enough, people have harassed Chris on the phone. People who have been caught on the sting that have called Chris and threatened them with, you know, a lawsuit, threatened Chris, saying they don't want to be on the show, whatever, after they get handed a business card. I don't know if he gives them out to everybody, but you know, it has happened where Chris does get threatened a lawsuit, more like, for catching them and all that stuff. But it's just, I don't know if anyone ever really reported it back to Chris. I know Chris did call people, and most of them, of course, obviously didn't want to talk to Chris. But yeah.
It was like a rabbi, and it was... And a lot of those guys weren't in a position that they were with kids.
Oh my god, the rabbi.
And I feel like, as much as I love my job, and as embarrassing and as hard as it's going to be to tell anyone, I don't know if I should go back and put myself there. But like I said, it's the only thing I've ever loved, teaching. It's the only thing I've ever been good at. And I hate to throw that all away for a stupid frickin' mistake. And something that I really did go back and forth on so much.
It's tortured you.
It really did. I mean, I know some of those guys were like, heck yeah, gung-ho, I'm in, and probably a lot of them had done it before. And I'm sure some of them hadn't. Some of them were probably in my boat, that it was just like...
I just really cannot believe that he's truly trying to distance himself from the other predators that showed up on the channel on the new segments, right? Like, the other guys said the exact same thing. Yes, some of them look and most likely did have experience with that, but most of them were probably people who had never done it before. You know what I mean? And that doesn't make you any more innocent. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you more guilty or innocent. It makes you just as bad as the other ones. You know what I mean? Well, it technically does make you more guilty or less guilty, but you know what I mean. Morally, there's no change in it. You know what I mean? You were still trying to do the exact same thing.
A mistake.
Is that Raw Knight? Watch that be Raw Knight.
Well, Jim, I
He
appreciate
doesn't look good, man.
I'm sorry. I mean, you tell that kid I'm sorry too.
Let's see.
Alright?
I will.
Wait, does he think that they actually have minors that text guys like this? Come on, man. Come on, man. I assume he means the actress, but who knows? I don't know if that was like trying to get sympathy points where he's like, oh yeah, tell the kid that I'm sorry.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm sorry. Is that still on?
Come on, Manny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I really am. If
Is he looking into the camera? That would be so cringe. Let me look into the camera right now. I am sorry.
anybody that I know sees this, I am sorry. Don't think of me as a monster. I'm not. I made a mistake.
All right, well, do me a favor. We'll post it, all right?
I mean, am I supposed to leave now, or should I?
Yeah, no, you're free to leave. Yeah. I mean, if you want to take the water, you can take the water.
All right. Sorry, guys. I'll keep in touch.
He is really delaying it, man. Like, nothing's gonna happen. Like, you're not gonna be saved by, like, Batman or Superman or something. At the what is this called? A wall. And, like, get swept away. Like, that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? He's waiting for Chris to go, like, well, actually, James, like, don't leave just yet. You know, you've been a great sport. I'm not gonna get you arrested, and you won't be here today. You're free to go. Like, is that what he wants? Because that's obviously not gonna happen. Like,
I know what I'm doing.
All right. I appreciate that.
arrest.
Sheriff's Department, stop, put your hands on your...
I also realized that the cops were probably out there the exact same amount of time. So they've been out there for a minute, just out there chilling, right?
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You understand? You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have them present with you while you're being questioned. Do you understand that? Sir. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. Do you understand? Yes, sir. If you can decide, or you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not to answer any questions or make any statements, do you understand? Yes, sir. Okay.
Phone in. Check your head. What's your age?
Filming right now.
Wow,
'Cause he sees me.
wow, that was something
Come
else.
on.
I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, let's continue. Let's search up TCAP wiki. James Rutherford. I actually always forget James Rutherford's name. Often, funny enough. Anyway, so, oh my god, this segment is kind of long. Anyway, so we have James Rutherford, right? Rutherford. I keep saying, I'm just gonna call him James R. James Rutherford. His aliases are Jim, I Rutherford, you Rutherford. What? His relatives is ex-wife, second wife, one kid. He has a child somehow. He was a former teacher and track coach at St. Margaret of York Catholic School, former cosmetic salesman and construction inspector in the city of Springboro. He's divorced, but he is remarried. He was born February 14, 1980, which very close to when I was born. I was born the 9th of February. He's male. He's green. I almost said his eye color is green and his hair is brown. But he's balding though. Anyway, see, I knew this was a setup. James after being confronted by Chris Hansen. All right, let's continue. So James S. Rutherford is a predator that was involved in the Green Valley, Ohio edition of To Catch a Predator. He continued a disturbing trend of teacher suspects preying on children around the same age they educated. He is mostly known for his lengthy uncut interview where he tries every technique in the book to get sympathy from Chris Hansen and the viewers. Rutherford was a sixth grade teacher at St. Margaret of York Catholic School in Loveland, Ohio. He was a track coach and was married, about to go through a divorce. He lived in Northwest Dayton. Dayton? I don't know. Conversation with a decoy. So, Rutherford was 26 years old at the time of the sting operation. Rutherford met and chatted up a decoy online pretending to be a 13-year-old girl named Danica. They talked about many subjects, including sex, and imagine having Rutherford as a teacher, asking the girl if she would flirt with him. At one point, he even sets up a webcam session with a decoy, Emily Bix. I assume that's Emily. Removing his shirt and flexing his muscles. Soon after agreeing to meet up with the girl, Rutherford became suspicious and has second thoughts about his planned visit. That's him right there. That's our guy, which is not my guy, but interview with Chris Hansen. Ultimately, he arrives at the house and searches for the girl, calling on her and telling her to come to him. Emily then says, "No, come here," and the pair go back and forth. Chris Hansen then appears and swiftly brings justice, asking Rutherford to sit down for some questions. He responds that he had expected it to be a setup. During his interview with Chris, Rutherford stated that he was going through a divorce and wanted to get out of the house. Chris asks why not go to a sports bar. Rutherford responds yes. When asked what... Sorry, I'm burping so much. Anyway, when asked what he was there to do with the girl... What? When he asked what he was there to do with the girl... What? To do with the girl he had been talking to, he says that there were no plans for anything sexual to take place. A very common excuse. He appears I can't even talk. What the flip? Whew. He appears confident from the beginning that he was on national television and states later in the interview that he is probably on TV. Chris confirms, making Rutherford put his head onto his hands as the camera crew walks out. As seen in the uncut version of the interview, Rutherford does not leave initially and has a lengthy conversation with Chris, which lasts for half an hour. Rutherford tries to understand what made him do this. Rutherford mentioned how he saw Chris's show before and says he is not stupid as the rabbi, which is that guy, which is first of all, this guy right here, a complete monster. Like I don't have his segment now. That's because he got copyright claimed. So I got a strike for that, and I'm sure it was him personally who did that. But anyway, or the guy who showed up naked and came back the next day, which is John Connolly. Yep. He then asks Chris if he can please not show his face or profile him, and Chris replies that there are no guarantees who will be in the story. Rutherford then says he loves kids, which is crazy as hell, and cannot believe he did this and that he is not a pedophile. Rutherford then began to admit to Chris that he had a problem. He acknowledged that he had talked to other children before, but did not admit that he had shown up in person and claimed he did not explicitly look for young kids to molest. He then said he needed help, and Chris asked why did he not seek help. Rutherford replied that he did not think it was as bad as the evident. He did not think it was as bad as it evidently was. Rutherford then said he could have left the seat and ran out of the sting house, but he chose not to. Chris then asked him about being a teacher, pointed out he worked around children, and what would happen if he was demonstrating this kind of behavior. Rutherford admitted Chris had a good point when he said that Rutherford most likely would have done something at the sting house. Rutherford finally said, "Tell everyone I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry for everyone watching. Tell the kids, the decoy, tell that kid, right, the decoy, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, Mr. Hansen," without Chris even telling him who he is. James then asked Chris if there were cops outside, to which Chris replied, "I can't answer that." Rutherford then accepted his fate and leaves the seat and walked outside. Christ, I cannot talk. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Whew. Rutherford exited the house where Dark County Sheriff's Office arrested him and took him into custody. He was put in an unmarked car and was taken to the Greenville House. What the hell am I saying, man? He was put in an unmarked car and was taken to the Greenville police station. During his police interview, Rutherford admitted the same thing he said to Hansen. He had a problem. The cops agreed he did have a problem and asked if he had ever done this before. Rutherford tells them the same thing he told Chris. He never showed up in person, but he had talked to other kids, not specifically only kids. The Greenville police notified the school where Rutherford worked, and he was fired immediately. Good. According to the contributor for Rutherford's chat, the mother of a female pupil called the sheriff's office. The mother of a female pupil, I assume a female, a student, called the sheriff's office to thank them for arresting Rutherford, claiming that he had groomed her daughter while he was working in education. What? Oh my god, let me take a sip of water. It's not even water anymore. It's watered down Sprite. It's not vodka, but it is what it is. Whew. So, the mother of a female pupil called the sheriff's office to thank them for arresting Rutherford, claiming that he had groomed her daughter while he was still working in education, which is crazy as hell. I cannot believe there was actually a case, which, you see, you cannot take what this guy said, to heart, because he was definitely a villain of some form. Initially, Rutherford tried to fight the charges in court. However, Rutherford was also involved in a chat with a decoy operating in Indiana while chatting with Danica. The undercover cop working for the Carmel Police Department identified Rutherford and notified the Greenville police. He had 7 pending felonies in that case because he masturbated in front of a decoy but ended up not being convicted. Oh my, poor decoy, first of all. My god. Rutherford eventually pled guilty to the original charges and decided not to fight them. Considering the severity of some of the things he said and did, he received a relatively tame sentence. 45 days in the county jail, which is horrible. It's a poor sentence. 40 hours of community service, and $2,000 in court costs and fines from his failed supervision hearing. No contact with minors under any circumstances. No possession of drugs, pornography, or alcohol. Must submit a DNA sample. 36 months of probation that would result in 9 months in prison if violated. Indefinite sex offender counseling due to his poor results from a court-ordered psychological sexual offender evaluation. Sex offender registration for life in the state of Ohio, but only with the requirement that he report his sexual offender status for 10 years, and his teaching certificate was revoked. That is weird. He has to report that he's a sex offender for only 10 years, but he will be on the registry for life. In 2017, Rutherford had his name removed from the public sex offender. What the flip? Rutherford had his name removed from the public sex offender list. God, surprisingly, Rutherford would remarry in the years following his arrest. Photographs of him and his second wife can be found online. According to according to Hansen, I can't even. In a podcast in 2021, they have one child, and he worked in cosmetic salesman then. Hansen said his case highlights how a predator could be anyone. Hansen attempted to reach out with the number he found, but has yet to hear anything from Rutherford. Rutherford currently lives in Franklin, Ohio, and works as a construction inspector at the city of Springboro. I cannot see that at all. Well, she looked good, but you know, she married a fucking pedo moron. But anyway, that was a little uncalled for, but it really wasn't. Anyway, that's it for that. That's it for that video. If you like this, if you like the video, please. You know what I mean? I did this one for my fans. I did it for you guys. I really have. Everyone that has been messaging me and putting comments that has said they would miss videos like this, I did it for you guys. And it was also as well me realizing that there won't be a video like that would release anytime soon. And I just don't want to leave you guys in the dark. And I want something for you guys to watch, because I know there are a lot of people that tell me that, like, hey, my day brightens up when you post something. I really needed this, and hopefully I can help someone's day out. That's my main reason. Maybe this entire segment was botched as hell, but I don't care. Hopefully just hearing me again will make you feel better, and I hope you have a good day, at least today. And I hope you get better if you're feeling bad. But anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you some other time, and goodbye, right? Good luck.